What's up, everybody? This is 813 Wish coming at you live, bright and early, on a Monday morning, Tampa, Florida. Very tired this morning. I actually got I did get some sleep last night, but whatever that's worth. I had to sleep again tonight, so we'll see. But welcome to Facebook and another podcast from 813 Wish. So anyway, today's topic is going to be calligraphy. Let me tell you why. It's been an association of mine that computational advancement has brought us to a standstill. Why I believe that is because I think a lot of people earlier on in the 20th century were rushing to information in order to build an automation for production and better consumerism. But I think they were missing a crucial part of the puzzle, and that's that computation was supposed to be what we either ended up with or the brainchild that ushered in all the other surrounding technologies such as calligraphy, solid state, even technologies like the memristor, graphene, claytronics, all this other stuff. So you're kind of seeing like all this stuff that's at a face-off. Standoff, and I don't see a lot of people getting involved because they have preoccupations and everything else. But there is calligraphy, believe it or not. A lot of people think that there's not calligraphy, that we don't have real holograms and all this other things. And let me just remind you that there are black holes out there. I don't know. I know a lot of people don't believe in the lunar landing. A lot of people don't believe that NASA is doing their thing, but you gotta know that there is a space out there beyond the sky, and you gotta know that there are giant entities out there, if not only to believe that they're just masses. So, holograms do exist, if not only in black holes, or the face of God, or images in the void beyond the scope of hyperspace that reflect every conceptuum known to an entity, being, or individuality rather. So holograms do exist, and it's for that reason that we are still proceeding. Why I say that is because we have come to a technological understanding that since, the trowel, man really hasn't been able to stop producing technology only because they've been consumed by competition. And that's actually quite healthy, and it's a very healthy aspect of consumerism because it drives the mentality of health aspects such as production, consumerism, observation. The human condition is ripened by technological forthcomings and things of that nature, but it is also important to identify these aspects and not to get lost within them. And let me give you an example. A lot of people, like neo-pagans and stuff, and pagans and occultists and witches and things like that, warlocks, all these people practice magic, but in reality all it is a pseudo-minded advancement for quantum physics. So there are contrasts between technology and the communication that the people use to personify these technologies with. So there's aspects out there that are unavoidable, such as, cornerstones, the philosopher's stone, the red herring, and things of that nature. People will know, ultimately, instead of knowing that questions or answers are out there, they're going to know that there's an animal out there, rummaging around, and sure enough, they're going to turn something up. And that kind of thing. So just be aware that there is holograms out there, and that it essentially the pursuit of the control over calligraphy, and even like pyromancy and stuff like that, it is going to elude people to an understanding of computational communication and binary understanding. And it is for that reason that one day we're going to turn around and realize that we were thrown into a whole new millennium. The year is 2019 as of this date. It is Monday, September 16th. And AD rather, no Aeon, Eon. And so the 20s of this millennium have yet to risen, and I believe that we're going to see some pretty cool stuff starting the year 2020, proceeding on to the year 2030. I think the 20s are going to be very enlightening for a lot of people, but my concern is that they're not ready. Are we ready for the coming age of abundance? And there's actually a TED Talk about that out there. I highly suggest looking it up. Although it's not going to really pertain to what I'm talking about today, I'm shedding light more on the technology itself rather than the prep talk of information and education. I want everyone to be aware that there is a mole out there. It's called land. It's called the land rush. It's called calligraphy. There's going to be a turn, in technology. People don't expect a lot of technology, and they're right for doing so, because you shouldn't rush the golden egg. You shouldn't rush the server to your table. But at the same time, you want to be hungry. You want to be aware of what's coming to you. So just know that this the world at large today is not a dare. You know what I'm saying? It's not like, oh well, we may do this, we could do that. Be careful, and be aware, and you better not walk down that street. It's more along the lines of, we have computers. There are guns out there. People are trying to control things. Life's very dangerous. You really only have one pair of eyes. And that's why information becomes more important than confrontation. But it is. I agree with a lot of people. It is dangerous both ways. I think we should accept that. We should also accept the coming technologies as dangerous. We should accept a certain amount of danger in our lives as evangelists, as sleuths, as consumers. So to briefly touch upon how I opened up this conversation, calligraphy is going to be the cornerstone of how people get involved in either computational events or the surrounding world of quantum physics that will ultimately partnership with computational events. What we're seeing today is the quantum computer being developed and evolved into a consumer product. Will quantum computation ever make it to publicity and in the home of the average consumer? I don't know. In my mind, just to throw a fresh opinion out there and to cast an early vote, I really think we only need one computer per world. One quantum computer per world. The average binary computer is very powerful. It can absolutely warp your mind. I don't know if you've ever been on the internet into the obscure corners of even the surface web, but there are a lot of forums out there that are riddled with people, challenging the aspects of mental condition and capacity. And I don't know if you guys have ever heard. This is just to blow the whistle a little bit on a fresh topic, but creepypasta. They're urban legends is what they used to call them. Today they call them CPs. And there's plenty of websites about that. Even YouTube is littered with all kinds of videos of people putting clay in their faces or stop motioning wheelchairs spinning around by themselves, and what's the message, But all that is scribble. All that is writing. It's the new age writer trying to splendor the consumer into fascism to enable the market, and to flood the economy with more money, but it is a healthy aspect of productivity, and it is an objectivity, so it can not only be controlled, but it can be monitored, and the scary part about it is that the head honchos are looking for reactions to stuff like this, all kinds of ways, If you want to get involved today, all you have to do is say to yourself, okay, well I'm going to play a little patrolman. I'm going to filter my friends. I'm going to filter what I say. I'm going to filter my Facebook. I'm going to keep it low level, low key, But, you end up with a circumstance of a great toga surrounding the few evangelists that took the time into going somewhere, and now they're faced with even more danger than what they should have been. So, getting back to my point, I think calligraphy is very important. I think it has an immense capacity for storage, encapsulation. I think right now, I don't know if like IBM was working on it, or like a few other companies were working on it, but like, holographic data storage, hard drives, and the holographic platters instead of just the random platters that resemble CD technology and stuff. Computers are only going to get so small, honestly, because of the elementary aspect of the decadent path of the electron. Whereas you would have a circuit that increasingly got smaller and smaller, and the circuits got so close together that the electrons would bounce back and forth unpredictably within the entire breadboard, and making computational susceptibility virtually unpredictable. So you can't make them that small. Even if you add more transistors, inevitably you either have one size that works for you, or you just stack a bunch of computers on top of each other, and now you have this giant mainframe. So computers are only going to get so small. The quantum computer can replace that aspect, but then again, you have an entire new wave of informational questionability and accountability. So what do you want to do, with yourself as somebody who goes to Target or Walmart or Best Buy and buys a computer? What are you going to do with it? Are you adding to the chaos? Should you just remain, in the mind frame of going to work and stuff? I mean, these are all excellent questions, but don't think about it too much, because other people are jumping the gun, so, look out for a lot of those technologies coming into play and changing your life, at large. I think it's very important to realize that time does go on. This too shall pass, and it's for that reason that the time is now to become informed and know that you yourself are very powerful if you only choose to be. So, my personal standpoint from such aspects are to get involved, and to know the limitations of technology, so I can make technology more efficient and work better for me, to become more efficient myself. And it's also another opinion of mine to not come for people to not come down on other people like that, because it could bewilder them, and people can fall complacent to the fact that people don't take to progression wisely enough, and accept the transitions of current histories. If you take into consideration, the history of mankind, let's say just only going back to AD, it's about 2,000 years worth of evolution. It's not very much evolutionary wise, but what happens is you get the track of progression becomes narrower and narrower, so you have a quicker evolution, and it's not like the computer. There is no form factor there. The only limitation you would have is convincing other people that it was a reality. And that's where the frustration from the user comes into play. Where, these people don't accept the theories of aliens, our world's gonna go to hell because people are very complacent. No one's learning the computer, no one's getting a job, or no one's voting for the president, no one's doing this, no one's doing that. We're complaining, but are we documenting this stuff? Are we writing it down? Are we making it the reality that we feel it is? And that's kind of where the holograms sit with me, is that do we believe in holograms? Do we believe in something that is there and yet not? We have a hard time doing so with God, as it is. So are we ready to put that aspect on the pedestal and maybe turn to the writer's desk? Or are we going to continue the ever-loving pursuit of happiness in the looking glass? My thing is that both will happen. There's enough people on this planet for that to happen, but at the same time, you don't want to get washed up. You don't want to get everything watered down. Archives become important. Information becomes more important, becomes critical, and things of that nature. So holograms play a crucial part of evolution, as far from the standpoint of humanity, in my opinion. Only because I think holograms were around. The idea of holograms were around since the Dark Ages. The idea that you could look into a mirror. When the mirror first came out, that itself induced the holographic universe effect. Spooky action at a distance. You know, the famous experiment, I don't know how famous it is. I mean, it's famous in the occultist sectors, but the famous experiment, Aleister Crowley, when he was walking down the street, you know, and he said, okay, I'm going to do something, and then he pointed to a man, and then Aleister Crowley fell to his knees, and the man fell to his knees, and the man looked around, didn't know what was going on. The man standing next to Aleister Crowley was like, oh, you know, how'd you do that, you know? It's creepy circumstances that surround synchronicity, you know, and coincidence elude to the inquisition of more technology, and it festers more questions. That's why it's important to accept certain technologies and to deny certain technologies, you know. Enough said about that. However, you know, which ones do we pick? You know, what do we do? And that's kind of why I'm highlighting calligraphy. I think it's very important. I think in the year 2019, you know, the aspect of calligraphy is safe enough to where we can, you know, dust the shelf off and maybe put something on the mantle to admire and realize that it has become a part of our culture. People have fought over things like this, and that would have been the root rhizome of the entire oak tree. So, yeah, I'm going to make this podcast kind of quick today. I'm running out of steam. Like I said, it's early, and I've not had breakfast yet. I just wanted to get out to you guys really quick. So look out for calligraphy. It is the red herring that, sure enough, many people have already caught. I'm sure there are, you know, maybe Area 51 has some holographic hard drives or something. I know Solid State is out there, solid state hard drives. You know, a lot of people have solid state hard drives in their computers today, and those are just regular computational computers. The MP3 player is solid state. It's essentially holographic technology. There's nothing special about that, you know. But what happens is when people see, you know, Dungeons and Dragons come up from a table, and now all of a sudden they're immersed in teleimmersion, they blur the lines between calligraphy and teleimmersion. Things become more or less real, so the capacity for the mental condition becomes at stake. So just be aware of that. But again, don't stray from it. Just know that it's out there. Anyway, this has been 813 Wish. Hope everybody has a good day. Shake someone's hand, plant a tree, give someone $1, help someone cross the road. From Tampa, Florida, giving shout out to Zuckerberg. I really need you to check out my profile, bud. I know you don't even check out yours. I have a lot of stuff out there. Why don't you send a couple $1,000 my way so I can get a house? Just kidding. Hope you do well in court, but I know you're going to be there again. This is 813 Wish, and I'm saying peace.